My Gavan and Melanine, and well met indeed. I'm Araki Galadothin, the head and modding leader of Divide and Conquer, and welcome to the Dorwinion campaign, far to the east of Middle-earth. You join us at a sad time as we continue this campaign, as I'm sure you recall we lost Carverad to the vicious and evil forces of Rhûn. We are, however, en route to reclaim it, and in an attempt to sting upon them as they have stung upon us, we shall take Curvasag in the south, with its only defender Edgu, with Thorwin, Vinelord Swine, and Harold there to claim it. We're also keeping an eye on Captain Mengetu as he threatens Arathur. Noble victory in the south there. But at the moment all we can do is end our turn and pray. So I shall take this opportunity to answer some of the questions I didn't answer in the Northern Dunedain campaign. I have been asked a few questions that I thought would be useful to, or lore related, most of them to be honest. But, that's the first thing I wanted to say. A gentleman called Buku Karatine was struggling to pick up the ring. And this flows from, as I've said before, people not playing the vanilla game before they play any submod of any kind. Ballad 560. Oh, nothing from there. It's just Edgu. We've just got to deal with Edgu quickly, efficiently, or we risk loss here.
Attack!
Yeah, so the reason we suggest you play the base game, even Medieval 2, before you play Third Age, is that any character in the game can only have 8 ancillaries. So, if you send a general to pick up the ring, he's going to need an ancillary free, as the ring counts as an ancillary. And if you don't have a free slot, i.e. you have 8 ancillaries already, you can't pick up the ring. This is not a crash, this is not a bug, this is something that cannot be changed, and you must work around this yourself. And Buku Karatine simply asked he couldn't pick up the ring, and that was the reason. Right, I don't know who they're going to charge, but we want to try and surround them as fast as we can, and kill them before the reinforcements arrive.
The tide of battle seems to have turned against us. We must act and halt this turn of events.
They seem to have learnt of our plan, diverted their troops. Oh, they're not going to get a full charge bonus now. But in raw battle, surely we'll be able to... What numbers have we got? We do have more men than them, 20 more.
Defeat seems almost certain.
Well, they're shredding through Forthwind's forces already. 23-12, no bonus against armor. 10-26, they're not even that much better. But they get a bonus against cavalry. That's why they're better. He has killed most of us already. Forthwind's down from 20 to 14, and we've killed 4 people. Speed it up.
Only half our force remains.
Yeah, there is no hope here. Look at that. It's ridiculous. I hate those bodyguards. I absolutely hate them. And we've not taken Curvasig. And someone's being chased. Which one is that? Oh, our only advantage is that these 2 units are exactly the same speed, so they just can't catch us. Oh well, at least no one died. Yeah, so you can only get the ring if you have less than 8 ancillaries, or less than 7. If there isn't any space, you won't pick it up.
Bitter drop to swallow.
55 men died, and we only killed 10 of them. This leaves you with an anger that you can't control. Why did we make these people so good? And it all becomes clear now. It's because they're effective against cavalry, and my bodyguards aren't. Which is how it should be. The Rhûn bodyguards are the one thing that everyone knows
we must regroup.
That Rhûn have in their favour. Very strong bodyguards.
Pulling back from the walls.
And for those of you who are wondering whether or not maybe Dol Amroth's bodyguards should be the best, Dol Amroth's bodyguard are very fast. They're possibly... Well, they are the fastest bodyguard, and they're up there with the fastest 3 cavalry units, alongside the Royal Guard of Rohan and the Wind Riders of Khand. The bodyguard of Dorwinion, of Dol Amroth, are pretty much the next fastest. But they I think overall they aren't as good because they have a very small standing number. So they're not that useful in massive battles, which is as intended, because when I first joined the mod, an army of Dol Amroth generals would wipe out everything that ever faced them.
Your orders, my lord.
Nothing could stop them.
As you command, we shall prevail. Yes.
Well, at least we'll take Carverad back immediately.
Yes, my lord.
Sit on that
Yes.
bridge. Oh,
Your orders, my
what
lord.
have they done with it? Nothing.
With honor.
Yes, my lord.
To battle. We shall prevail. Yes.
Still got his 38.
Your orders, my lord.
And altogether we've got 80, 39. We have only one more than him. We wouldn't be able to win, but
I will not waste words on you.
at least we can keep that place constantly under siege, which will make Rhûn think that we're actually trying to do something with it, when in reality we don't
Yes, my
actually care
lord.
about it at all. As soon as we've got the forces as well, we will move out on
Your will, my lord. As you
the
wish.
easterling capital of Mistrand. Just got to wait for reinforcements to arrive. We'll reclaim Carverad, which will be good. We need Carverad back because it's our main moneymaker. It is our main money, a main moneymaker, I should say.
Your orders, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Do we want to sacrifice some of those? We'll leave behind you three.
Yes.
Take you lot down there.
Hiding from the enemy.
Alright. And then turn again. So that's the ring question. I was asked a question today by Jason Scott Sheets. And he asked if we will add any of the "you have reached" little pop-up windows for key locations in Middle-earth, and will we add any of the Hobbit ones? And the answer, unfortunately, is no, because the video cutting technology we would need, whilst we do know how to do that, it requires huge sizes, upload sizes, and it makes the mod
Yes, my lord.
substantially bigger for a very, very limited payoff. So I'm not particularly willing to
Yes.
add in extra videos
Without
for you've
question.
reached.
Yes. As you wish. Yes.
Although we could...
Yes,
Oh
my lord.
no, I forgot that had happened. Oh. Gondor have lost Ministerial.
Without question. I shall continue tomorrow. Your orders, my lord.
That's interesting. They didn't attack. We could
Assembling a
add.
mighty host.
We could add little messages that just say you've arrived at Erebor, you've arrived at Dale, you've arrived at, and we could take a picture of them from the Hobbit movie, so you'd at least get something when you get there. But we wouldn't add videos back in of those locations. To answer that, right? Let's go bold and brash. Screw it.
Yes,
Take
my lord.
Carverad immediately on the first
Yes.
turn that we've
We
besieged it.
shall engage.
They don't get any garrison. Should fall very easily. He says 20-7 strength ratio. Ah, because it can't display halves. Otherwise, why would it not just say 10 to 3.5? Has to display the first first whole number. Integer. Do we auto-resolve this battle against Captain Uldor, or do we think we'll lose way too many? How many archers has he got? 63 crossbowmen, 118 Candish hunters, 20 raiders. We would probably lose quite... Let's do it. 313 men lost in that victory, though. It's alright.
Glory,
It's alright.
honor, victory.
We can take 313.
My lord, our courage and honor have conquered.
Can you recruit anything in 2 turns? Instead, just send them
Your
across.
will, my lord. By your command.
Move them down straight
We'll
away.
wait with honor. We
Hey,
shall
I gave you low
continue
tax. What are you
tomorrow.
moaning about? It's only 1 turn anyway. They won't revolt on a 50%.
Your orders, my
Hard
lord.
and fast down here as well.
To battle.
Oh no, we don't want to do this because he will get garrison units and we can't hold them off. So we'll just have to wait. We won't be able to beat the garrison. And let's do it over here. Let's charge out. We'll leave 22 of them behind, and I don't know. Have we got anything we can take from there? Yeah.
Your
202
will,
of
my
them
lord.
come down.
As you wish.
Leave you 2 behind. And we march.
Yes. Making camp here. As you command.
I don't think Mistrand has their faction leader in it anymore. I'm fairly certain we've seen him roaming around the shores north of the river. So we shouldn't have to face him there, which makes it for a much easier battle. And we're starting to make money again now we've retained Carverad, or Carverad's returned to our hands. So again we shall end. Oh, did we move him this?
My
Yes,
lord.
of course we did. The question that I've been asked that I've been pondering the most is from a Paulos Philippos, who asks, do the Avari go to Aman the same way that the Sylvan, Sindar, Nandor, Noldor and Teleria all do? And as far as I'm aware, yes, they do. I can't understand why any elf would not go there, given Eru Iluvatar's essentially love for all elves and the creation of them all in the same way. And I can't imagine that they'd be not allowed to go to Aman just because they originally chose not to go to Aman. But of course, the Avari are only ever going to die if they are killed. And we know nothing of Avarin society, what's happening in the east. We don't know. The likelihood is that the Avari they probably have like one death every 1,000 years or something stupid. But I can't see why that one elf wouldn't go to Aman. Wouldn't go to Valinor. Well, they'd go to the halls of Mandos if they were to die, of course. But the Avari certainly wouldn't seek to sail there on their own volition. Right, let's turn our attention briefly to this and talk about that again in a second. Captain Mengati with 2948 has immediately stepped out to meet us. And he's got a lot of basic units. But he's got quite a substantial cavalry force. But we've got a lot of infantry. We should be alright.
Muster your courage, men! We march into battle!
So to sum up that somewhat rambling thought, the Avari that would go to Valinor, to get there they would have to die, because they wouldn't choose to go there on their own, because they didn't choose to go there however many 1,000 years ago it was that the Great Journey took place. They remained in the lands around Cuavirnan. So the only way they would go there now is if they were to die, and I can't understand any reason why, just because they chose not to go there initially, why they wouldn't go there in the end. And in fact, recalling it back now, I'm fairly certain that every single elf soul upon death goes to the halls of Mandos, where it is then eventually sort of released, depending on the life the person has led. It's sort of released out into Valinor, where it then spends the rest of eternity. So I think, yes, the Avari do go to Valinor, but they'd have to die to get there. So for the Avari, then, you could say that death for them is actually something to be reasonably feared, whereas most elves probably don't fear death under the knowledge that it doesn't really hinder them. They go to the Valinor, they go to the halls of Mandos, they're essentially judged. Many of them, though, are then they're not kept there indefinitely, as it were. But for the Avari, given that they've spent their entire life far away from these elves and having had nothing to do with them, the going to the halls of Mandos must surely be quite a problem for them. Right, and in an attempt to absolutely annoy the cavalry as much as possible, I'm going to line up my 4 stakes along there as best we can. But we're going to position our troops. See, no, because really we want to be on that hill. So we will line the stakes. We will do the mass stake plan in the hope that it kills some of their cavalry. But we'll run our archers back up to the top of this hill here. So take those units that are small, group them in the centre. Small but mighty. And then flanking them. Stronger units. Right, that'll be our initial battle line. Group them up. And then we will have you and you prepared on the flank. You and you prepared on this flank. The 202 of you to just spread out along the middle. So join that initial grouping. cavalry will be poised up on the hill. No way will be in about the position where the archers will be. So the only thing we want to do is run the archers away as fast as we can. Speed it up. Get back before the cavalry does. Now the 4 random stake points should really mess with the AI. They probably will have no idea what to do with that, and some of their cavalry will just walk straight through them. Because for whatever reason, that's how they deal with it. I don't understand myself, but keep it sped up. Oh, they're going to break, but they're going to run through those stakes. Look at that, idiots! They lost almost their entire battalion in one charge. Absolutely ridiculous. Some of them are killing themselves now that they're Cantabrian. They're doing their circle through the stakes. Oh, the cavalry are just delightful. Well, before our lines have even met, we've killed 4% of them, and they're just helping us out. It's like a conveyor belt of death. Fools. Idiots deserve no special treatment. And our Thorn Guard stand ready. The Thorn Bladesmen ready to pounce behind. Oh dear, they have javelins. Oh, it's not Balkoth, it is, isn't it? There they are, look at them. You're just going to have to endure it. They've only got 3. And then they are useless. So stand firm, men. Oh, they don't seem to be flanking very much. So move to try and meet them. The enemy general has killed himself on the stakes. Over there. They've come through unhindered. The only unit to do so. Somehow they've destroyed the stakes by just walking slowly through them. That's interesting. Interesting what their tactic will be now, though. I think they're charging them, but they've got quite a few archers, haven't they? Cavalry. Should have no real challenge now, to be honest. Should just be a very straightforward grudge match. The cavalry being how we essentially cripple certain areas and win. Avari facing off against their archers. Crossbowmen in support. If they can fire into that mass just there, they'll get lots of kills.
The battle seems to be swinging in our favour. From such tidings does victory emerge.
I do wish there was a way that you could tell archers to fire at an area. So you could literally just... It brings up a small circle with a key press, and they will then just shoot the middle of that circle. And surely it wouldn't be that hard to program. You could sort of create like a ghost unit almost, so that the center of that circle was one individual man. So he then represents an entire unit. And so then the enemy is essentially focusing on that one man. Because he doesn't really exist, but the game thinks he does, they just fire indefinitely. But that is likely beyond the programming of the game. But I'm fairly certain you can do that in Rome. So they obviously eventually worked out how to do it. Oh dear.
Only half the enemy force remains. The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
We need to capture as many as we can. Because we will definitely be attacked again. Oh, why do they attack in such a stupid way?
The enemy army flees the field. Pursue and run them down.
Just run through and capture everyone. But then maintain your formation and do the same thing again. Oh, see, now they've done it. Now they've done it, now that they know I'm watching them. 88%, that is 12% of these people is too high. How many attack? 2,600? 260? 26? 52? 312? 312 people, too many. But we don't need to capture every single soldier. You just need to grind them down till they're a small enough percentage that they won't actually then threaten, that they will then just disband anyway. And we can still do that. See that they're doing it. They just, what is that? Well, now they've just run past them. It's frustrating is what it is. Try and capture those 5. Just got the wind howling in the background. And there we are, finally. Let that guy run.
Our foe is utterly vanquished.
Heroic victory.
Let all who remember this day remember it as the day of our most glorious victory.
We lost 299 men. And they killed 469, so we've healed a lot, so it's difficult to know how many we actually killed ourselves. Commendable in that battle were the Avari Elder Archers, led by Nerwe, Avarin High Counselor, and emissary of the Avarin peoples to the realm of Dorwinion. I tried to make it so that if Nerwe had children, because he's just a general, he'll be part of your family tree, no doubt, eventually. Although I think I left them as Teutonic, but
Yes.
I tried to make it so that if he had children, they'd have elven bodyguards.
A most noble conquest.
I am absolutely stunned for words. Rather than attack, Edgu just let himself be killed. Curvaseg just gave up. Well, why? That's crazy. That's because the computer, unfortunately, the auto-calculation system is so terrible. And I mean that. We've tried our absolute best. I remember we learnt a way of making it so that certain units would behave stronger in auto-calculation than they do in normal battle. So we tried to make it so that all cavalry was represented properly in auto-resolve.
Yes, my lord.
And I remember spending hours trawling through the Edu, updating this one number, fiddling around with it. Zarathos and I did it together, and even then it still had minor changes. Noticeable changes that now are just second nature, but minor changes overall. But the auto-resolve is so poor that even though Edgu would have soundly destroyed me in that battle, because his bodyguard is phenomenal, and he had those few units nearby, they could have helped. He's just given up because the auto resolve thinks I would have won.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it? Right, we'll try and take the Plains of Sorrow, and then I'm not sure what to do here. I do not want to attack because obviously,
yes, my lord.
Then you've got to actually attack, and I'm not very good at that. He's got a good army, and we don't really know what's in Mistrand. No, let's pressure them. Oh, let's. No, we don't. We can't attack from the bridge, which is disappointing. But we can attack from there.
With honor.
Oh, it'll take a turn, but yes.
We shall engage.
Then at least we can't be. They can't come from behind us. It's a shame we can't attack though.
Yes, your orders.
Because we've had to walk through their zone of control, which immediately removes all your movement points. But there's no other way to attack from there other than joining a ship. Oh, that's retraining. That's good, and we've taken Curvasig, which is very nice. We'll keep the wood, just let that be Curvasig. Sagathafold. Interesting to see what Rhûn will do now, whether they'll pull back and take Curvasig, where we've got strong generals, so there's no real danger from us down there. Oh, speaking of which, actually, let's build some towers up.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands. This tower will keep vigil.
Your orders, my lord.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands.
Oh, that was foolish.
Yes, my lord. Your orders, my lord.
It's the old run
This
road.
tower will keep vigilant.
Yes, your orders, my lord.
Team up with him. What have they
I
got?
will not waste
Nothing.
words on you.
You'll be alright.
Yes, my lord.
Why don't
Your
you go out as
orders,
well,
my
actually?
lord.
You'll be able to beat them then.
Yes, my lord.
Alright, I think I will end that video there as well. Having this timer in the top corner is very handy. I like to keep them about this, 20, 25 minutes or 30 minutes maximum. Keeps them in short, enjoyable length. And that is exactly what I hope this has been, short and enjoyable. I hope I've answered your questions succinctly and accurately. Although they are all, of course, just lore questions. Haven't really been asked a mechanic question for a while. But if you do have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below. As ever, thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you indeed all for subscribing still. We creep ever closer to 1,500 people now, which is, again, outstanding and something I never thought I'd see. So thank you all indeed. We continue working behind the scenes on DAC, and as soon as the Moria campaign is fixed, we will release version 1. After version 1, I have no idea where the mod will go. Cannot comment at all. I will, of course, just take this opportunity, given that YouTube now seems to be something that I have been doing on a weekly basis, just to highlight that for the months of March, April, and May, I will not be in the country. So do not expect anything from late March and then through all of April and May. So I'd just like to slip that one in now so that it's at least in people's minds 3 months before the inevitable disappearance. But for now, that is all. So as ever, dear friends, please do comment on the quality of this video, the last video, and the video before, so that I can work out the best payoff between quality and video size. Personally, I think these two using Windows 10's inbuilt game bar seems to be a very, very useful and seems to be the best option. It doesn't seem to stutter. It's a nice quality. It's not too blurry when you move the camera. So this is the one I'm leaning towards. Nvidia's file size is huge, so unless you really shave off the quality, you have 6, 7, 8 gigabyte videos, which unfortunately on my broadband living in the center of a town, even with the best broadband that my home can have, it still takes it hours to upload it. And unfortunately I'm not the only one that uses the internet, and it doesn't do to be selfish in this world. You should think of others before yourself. So I don't really wish to use up all the internet. But anyway, that's just rambling. So for now, thank you very much for watching, and until we speak again, dear friends, Navaha Naden Pedimad Melunin, and farewell.